I want to cry at what happened in the match between Boca Juniors and Necaxa FC. Boca Juniors striker Carlos Tevez received a cutting pass on the move and ran at full speed towards the goal, but goalkeeper Luis Unsain got in his way. Tevez cleared the ball away as he had done 1,000 times before in the hope of scoring a goal, but the goalkeeper stopped the striker at the cost of a terrible injury. There wasn't a second of doubt that something terrible had happened, and doctors immediately ran onto the pitch. While the medics rendered aid, the whole world tearfully prayed that Luis would be all right. Luckily for everyone, Luis Unsain survived and only suffered a double fracture to his jaw.
Friends, in today's episode, I'm going to tell you about heartbreaking moments in football that will make you cry. Watch till the end, and then you will know. Why Anfield gave a standing ovation to Cristiano Ronaldo. What was a real disaster for Ajax players. How a player of the opposing team saved a life. Why a child could not stop crying after meeting Darwin Núñez. All this you will find out after watching till the end.
The terrible episode occurred in the second half of the match of the 17th round of the APL between Bournemouth and Luton. In the 62nd minute of the meeting, the guests' defender Tom Lockyer collapsed on the lawn without any contact. For a long time, players and fans with tears in their eyes froze, waiting for an answer. What happened to Tom? The captain of Luton Football Club, Thomas Lockyer, suffered a cardiac arrest. Thanks to the competently rendered first aid, Tom was brought back to life and successfully transported to the hospital.
In the 16-17 season of the Polish Championship between the teams Legia and Jagiellonia, a touching event happened. A footballer of the team Legia, Marku Paixão, played his last match.
After the match, Marku could not hold back his tears, and what happened brings tears to his eyes. The fans chanted his name, and the match referee, Simon Marciniak, made a unique gift in the form of cards from his farewell match. Teammates gave Mark a farewell corridor, after which the player sat on the bench and cried for a long time.
German national team player Leon Goretzka, in a match against Liechtenstein, received a blow that shocked everyone who was on the pitch. But the player who made the blow was the most frightened of all. Guest defender Jens Hofer made a direct kick to Goretzka's head.
This moment happened in February 2022. The opposing player Georg Teigl collapsed after a collision and couldn't breathe, swallowing his tongue. Everyone watched in horror what happened, but not Luka Lochoshvili. He quickly ran to Georg and pulled out his tongue so that Teigl would not suffocate. Christopher Vernitsneg helped, holding his head. In the end, Teigl even left the pitch on his own. He didn't need a stretcher. After that, Austrian players took turns hugging Lochoshvili with tears in their eyes and a smile on their faces.
After the final whistle in the match between the Netherlands and Germany, nobody could understand why the referee was crying. While everyone was puzzled by the referee's tears, Virgil van Dijk went to comfort Ovidiu Katsagan. As it turned out, his mom died recently, and he couldn't hold back his tears.
He was broken, standing there with tears in his eyes because he had just recently lost his mother. I wished him to stay strong and told him he refereed our match perfectly. It's a small thing, but maybe it will help him, Van Dijk said. In the Czech Republic match, an ordinary game moment had dire consequences. After a collision with his partner Martin Berkovits, he collapsed breathlessly on the lawn. While everyone was watching with tears in their eyes and holding their breath, striker Francis Kohn did not hesitate and put his fingers in the mouth of the lying Berkovits to pull out the goalkeeper's tongue. It's not the first time I've done it. It's something like the fourth time. Twice in Africa, once in Thailand, Kohn told Czech media after the tie between the teams. Berkovits was taken to hospital, but after about 50 minutes of the match, the stadium announcer was able to announce that they were both okay, prompting a flurry of applause from the crowd. No one knows how it would have ended if not for Kohn's quick response.
On 8th of May 2019, There was an unbelievable event in a match that moved fans of one team to tears and exuberant joy for the other. Ajax hosted London Tottenham at home in the return leg of the Champions League semi-final. After a 1-0 win in London, Ajax scored 2 more goals in the first half, and it seemed that the finalist was already decided. But after the break, Tottenham players scored 2 goals, but it was not enough for them to go further, and when the referee was already looking at the clock and Ajax players were already buying tickets for the final match, Tottenham player Lucas Moura, literally in the last attack, scored the 3rd goal and deprived Ajax of a ticket to the final. And what happened then is impossible to watch without tears. Friends that I would not cry, and I was in a great mood to do for you heartbreaking videos. Put a like video and subscribe to the channel. It will be the best thanks to me for my efforts. Moving on, after the draw with Kayserispor, 7 Alanyaspor players, including former Tottenham defender Steven Coker, ex-Newcastle forward Papis Cisse, and Czech Republic striker Josef Soral, did not take the team bus home, but rented a Mercedes-Benz minivan. Journey was going to be long and late. The way from Kayseri to Alanya takes about 7 or 8 hours. The match ended around 6 p.m., so there were 2 drivers in the car.
5 kilometers before Alanya, the minivan had an accident. The car overturned, and the main impact was on the right side. In addition to numerous dents and broken windows, the door was torn off. One of the passengers suffered multiple head injuries and fractures, and he could not be saved. Josef Soral died in intensive care. In 2023, there was an incredible earthquake in Turkey that killed many people, including Ghanaian striker Christian Atsu, playing for Turkish Hatayspor at the time. The news shocked many football fans. All the teams he had previously played for honored his memory with a minute's silence.
In 2014, in the Ukrainian Football Championship, there was a case of incredible heroism. After an overhang by a Kyiv Dynamo midfielder, Dnipro's goalkeeper stepping out on the overhang for the ball, kneeing Dynamo striker Oleg Gusev in the head, horribly injured him. Gusev lost consciousness in the air and collapsed breathlessly on the lawn. Many people on the pitch had no time to realize what had happened when Dnipro player Jaba Kankava put his fingers in his mouth to catch his tongue and prevent Gusev from suffocating. Look at the price of what pain and emotions cost him. Doctor of Dnipropetrovsk Hospital, Grigory Pilipenko, the first aid, which was made to the player on the field from Dnipro midfielder Jaba Kankava, saved his life. Because tongue retraction and convulsive attacks are fraught with consequences. An ordinary game episode occurred in a Russian championship match between Spartak Moscow and FC Sochi. Spartak's forward Alexander Sobolev made an elegant dive to head the ball into the goal. But what happened next shocked the spectators.
Alexander took off his shirt and cried, and only teammates knew that a few days ago Alexander's mother passed away. Such a touching moment, and support from those around him cannot go unnoticed. Throughout his sporting career, Cristiano Ronaldo fans have had the chance to watch Cristiano Ronaldo cry many times, but this time they touched everyone's soul in a special way. After the final whistle of the quarter-final match of the 2022 World Cup, Cristiano went straight to the locker room. He couldn't hold back the tears, and all along the way the cameras followed him, capturing every tear. These were unusual tears. They were tears not from defeat, but from the realization that Cristiano Ronaldo's long career is coming to an end, and we will not see the legendary Ronaldo at the World Cup again. Tears at the fact that such a great player never made it to the coveted World Cup trophy. Maybe Ronaldo already realized that his eternal rival Leo Messi will fulfill his dream in a few matches, and it should be him in his place, and that makes the tears flow even more. But we will never know.
In another English Premier League match between Everton and Tottenham, which ended in a 1-on-1 draw 12 minutes before the end of the main time of the match, the most heartbreaking episode of this meeting took place. Everton midfielder Andre Gomes received the ball on the left flank of the Toffees' attack and rushed forward in an attempt to reach the visitors' penalty area. Many Tottenham players rushed towards him in the hope of hindering his confident pass. Tottenham's Korean player, Son Heung-min, was the first to get in the way, as he attempted to knock the ball away from the advancing player. In the process, Son slightly caught the right foot of a player in a blue shirt, a purely playful touch, which for the game can be 12.5, and without consequences. But here the consequences happened. While Gomes fell, he crashed into him an addition player of the opposite team, Aurier. In the unfortunate fall, Gomes' foot twisted, and he suffered a fracture and screamed in pain. Shocked by Gomes' injury, the Korean, already on the pitch, burst into tears. And in the dressing room, he was inconsolable. He was so emotional about what had happened that tears were pouring from his eyes. He must have blamed himself for what had happened. After the game, the home team players came to the Tottenham dressing room in solidarity with the opposing team and tried to console Son Heung-min, who was in tears, saying that they understood that it was an accident, a game episode, and no one has the right to accuse Son of deliberate harm in order to cause injury.
Football is more than just a game. Football is life, as evidenced by the action from the Liverpool team and players. On 19th of April 2022, there was a match between Liverpool and Manchester United. At the time, Manchester United player Cristiano Ronaldo was unable to take part in the match due to a huge tragedy that happened at 7. His newborn son died before he was born. A grief-stricken Ronaldo was unable to take part in the match. 7 minutes into the match, fans of the team stood up and applauded for a minute, showing their support for Cristiano, and sang, "You'll never walk alone." Some showed shirts with Ronaldo's surname on them, which brought tears to the eyes of all the spectators.
Darwin Núñez is a player who not only misses goals, but also a man with a huge heart. In one of the championship matches in the stands of the stadium, he noticed a boy with a sign in his hands asking for his jersey. Darwin did not ignore the child's request and handed it to him after the match, thus bringing the child to an incredible tantrum and a sea of tears. On your screen will appear the first part of the heartbreaking moments in football. Do not leave it without attention. It is as good as this. I bid you farewell and love football.